Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Say what? It's time for another video already. Lucky you. Well, it's been about 2 weeks. I don't know what I keep looking at over here, by the way. I noticed that in my last one. I'm always looking sideways. There's nothing over there. So, it's been about 2 weeks since my first video. I think a once every 2 weeks kind of a pace is a good thing to aim for. I don't know if I'll have anything every 2 weeks worth making a floss tube about to actually show you, but I can always come up with some bullshit and act like a clown, so I almost spilled my beer. That's why I looked sideways that time. Hang on. So, what have I been doing for the last couple of weeks? I probably should have written some stuff down. Actually, I did write some stuff down. It's all over the place, though. I should have organized it better. This is going to be just a fucking mess, but anyway. I put my stone's tongue on today. I did not put pants on. I did not shower. I turned my camera around so you can see my Beatles here in the background. That was my wife's suggestion. I think that was a good suggestion. Beatles. And let's see what... Oh, I don't know if... I'm sure nobody notices because nobody really knows me. It's only been one video, but I have the complete wrong face on right now with these ridiculous sort of like army printy maroony type glasses. I mean, they're fine and I can see, but look what my kid did. Look at this. Look at this. 1, 2. Well, I was giving him a good night and he just whipped them off my face and just chucked them against the wall. Okay. I love you too. Good thing I have some kind of a backup pair or I'd be completely blind. My son had a birthday on December 10th, turned 2 years old. We got him this really awesome red ukulele for his birthday. The kid just lives and breathes music. I've successfully brainwashed him into just like loving the Beatles. He's a Beatle fanatic. He knows all their names. He knows he sings along with the songs. He's always grabbing whatever he can find. Spatula, bread hook, dinosaur, whatever he can find to play as an air guitar. So like, we got to get him an actual instrument that he can hold in his hand and play like a guitar. So we got him a ukulele. Oh my God, does he ever love it. I don't know how to play ukulele, but I'm determined to learn because I know he's only 2, just whatever, just slap at it for a couple of years, I don't care. But if he actually wants to learn how to play someday, it would be nice to be able to play with him or show him some real songs or chords or like something other than just like, hey, pluck at the strings and hope something happens. That always goes well. So I want to learn how to play it too. And I'm determined at some point in the coming year to be able to play the song Ram On by Paul McCartney. It's a little ukulele ditty that he did in 1971. It's never on any of his best of or anything like that. If you don't have the album, you probably don't even know what it is. Maybe I'll link it below. You should listen to it. It's awesome. But I am determined to be able to play that song on ukulele at some point in the coming year. And maybe, if you're lucky, I'll even play it and maybe even sing it for you. Huh? Huh? Here. This is what I've got so far. Don't make fun. Okay, you can make fun. It's going to sound ridiculous. This is what I've got. Listen to the other song first so you get some kind of a reference for what I'm doing. Hey, I never even touched a ukulele until 3 days ago. Give me a break. I think that's damn good. Things I learned from my first video. First of all, before I even say anything, you guys are awesome. Like, I didn't know anybody. What am I going to do? I was like, I want to make one of these videos, but what am I going to do? Crowbar myself into this little tight-knit little group that you guys have got going on? How am I going to wedge myself in there? Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to watch it. Whatever. I'm going to do it anyway. But like, I was expecting nothing and nobody for at least a little while to even notice. And oh my God, you guys, the responses that I got, the comments that I got, the messages that I got was like overwhelming with support and how much you liked me and how much you didn't care that I was saying fuck all the time and how much you couldn't wait for my next one. And whether you were lying or not, I don't know, but it made me feel pretty damn good because I was expecting absolutely nothing. And I got everything. You guys are amazing. I almost started to tear up a little bit. Oh my God. Okay, things that I learned from my last video that I'm going to try to work on in the future. First of all, I slap my legs a lot. Did anybody notice that? When I was going through this and editing this, I was like, what is that noise? I must have done that 50 times. What am I doing? Here's one. The size and the count of the fabric that I work on, and the pattern itself, and the designer, and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I didn't mention any of that. I'm just like, here's a big one. I'm a big guy, and it wraps around me like a blanket. Like, just tell us the stitch count, shithead. We understand what big is. So I'll try to be a little bit more conscious of that going forward. What the pattern actually is, what I'm actually using, what the size actually is, instead of just like, look how big it is. Look, this is a big thing right here, and then this is a big thing right here. Huh? Okay? Also, a lot of people encouraged me to start using Instagram, because apparently that's where it's all at. Instagram. You and your young people with your Instagram. Look how cool I am. I'm on Instagram. I'm 20 years old. Anyway, Instagram. I have an Instagram if you want, and I will try to use it. At the very least, I'll follow my stitching people, and that's you guys. My people. How crass. And I don't know, I guess I'll put my Instagram thingy down below, or maybe I can, like, here, right here. Did that work? Did I do that? I don't know. What else? Oh yeah. Also, shout outs. Not that I want to just like, hey, shout out to blah, blah, blah. Like, make it look like you just want you to, like, acknowledge me in some way. But I really like a lot of you people. and it wouldn't kill me to, like, tell you who I've been watching and, like, how great they are, which is what I intend to do right now after I have one more sip of my beverage. I did last time mention Kyle as the guy that first got me sort of excited about Flosstube in the first place. So that was kind of a shout out. Like, he hasn't made any new videos in a long time, which makes me really sad. But I mean, I don't know. This whole thing was kind of like an unofficial quest to just find out what happened to Kyle. And look at that. One video, and there he is. He commented on my thing, and he's alive, and there he is. So, mission accomplished, I guess. I guess we're done here? Ah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Who have I been watching? That's awesome. Everybody is awesome. Michelle Bendy is awesome. So bubbly and fun. And I really like when you do your live things, even though I've been kind of afraid to, like, join in the chats or whatever. But I do watch. I stitch while you guys are chatting away and try to follow along with who you're talking to, which is hard sometimes when I'm not actually looking at the screen. But I do it anyway. Yany Stitcher said some really nice things about me, which makes me want to say some really nice things about you. Not just because of that, but because you're awesome. I was really excited. I grabbed my wife as soon as she walked in the door from work, and I was like, look, 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 somebody talked about me. Look how nice she is. Look at all the nice things she said. Married with Stitches. Oh my God. You guys, Married with Stitches, Christian and Derek. I think it's Derek. I should know. I don't know for sure. I should have written that down. Derek, I think. Christian and Derek. You guys are hilarious. And I watched a couple of your more recent Flosstubes, and I have fully intended to go all the way back to the beginning and watch them all, because you guys are fantastic. And you have a RuPaul elf on your tree, which means we're now best friends. Everybody's my best friend, but anybody who has a RuPaul elf on their tree is my best friend, because Shantae, you stay. And the last one that I'm going to mention today, I could just do an entire Flosstube just mentioning everybody and how great you are, but I'll spread them out a little bit and just do a couple at a time for each video. But the one that I'm going to talk about most, that I've been watching the most, is Shiloh, the Xstitchmd. You are fantastic. And I have a little bit of a soft spot just because she's from Halifax and I'm from New Brunswick. Not that that makes that much of a difference, or that that is kind of a weird sort of like, oh, look, you're within driving distance. Like, it's not like we know each other. Like, you might as well be on the other side of the world. But I don't know, when you find out that somebody's kind of close by, it gives you that same sort of like warm, fuzzy feeling of like when you work with somebody and then all of a sudden you see them out at the store and you're like, hey, look, we know each other from one place and now we're in another place. Isn't this cool? Hey, even though it's really not, but you get excited anyway. Ah, different context. Isn't this fun? Anyway, your stitchings are really fun. They're gorgeous. You did this one of a brain that's like half of like just a plain old brain and the other half is a really colorful brain. Oh my goodness. I paused it so I could like stare at it. It was so gorgeous. Where did you get that pattern? I'm not sure that I'd want to do it, but I might. Your knitting is awesome. I don't know how to knit, but it looks really awesome. The socks that you make are so much fun. I used to have this rule that I was not allowed to have any socks that weren't fun. Only fun socks. I was not allowed to have boring socks. And somehow, now that I'm like a pushing 40-year-old man, 38, I'm not really pushing 40, I'm 38. All of my socks have somehow turned boring again. Look how boring these things are. Oh my God. Oh, I think I just broke my leg. What happened to my fun socks? I had colorful socks. I had reindeer socks. I had cat socks. I had Justin Trudeau socks. I had all the fun socks that you can imagine. And now all my socks are boring again. And Shiloh's socks are so much fun. Can I have some? I'll pay you for them. But can I? I'll do my next video with my feet up so that you can see that I'm wearing the socks. If I can get a pair of socks for you. I'm not fishing for free shit. I'll pay you for them, but they're so colorful and they're so much fun. I need to start wearing fun socks again. Can I? I guess that's just about it for like, oh wait. Anybody read this book? This is a fantastic book. I'm probably the last person on earth that hasn't read this book. Well, I mean, I've read it now. I read it since my last video. Oh my God. What a book. I could not put that book down. And normally, even when I really like a book, I can put it down. I have no problem putting it down. Especially when I'm reading in bed. I get through about half a page. But I could not put that down. I read most of it in about a day or two, which is really fast for me. It was fantastic. If you have not read The Road, which I'm sure everybody has except me, you should read it. Because it's awesome. Also, one last thing. I don't usually have a beard like this. and it's looking kind of shaggy. I need to like trim it up and make it look a little bit better. But when COVID first hit, I kind of just let everything go like most men that I know did. My hair was crazy. My beard was crazy. And recently we were looking through some pictures and came across some pictures with my big shaggy beard from earlier in the year. And my wife looked at one of them and gave it one of these. Oh. And I know what that means. That means beard is coming back. Because when you're married and your wife gives you one of these, that's the same as when you were like 20 and somebody just whipped their clothes off right in front of you and just jumped on you in the middle of the living room. Same thing. So if beard is what you want, beard is what you shall get. Ooh, aw. Enough nonsense. There's never enough nonsense. But on to some of the things that I've been working on. I finished a page of my Princess with a Himalayan Cat. Does everybody remember what that looks like? I don't have a thing. I'll put in a picture of it or something. So I got down to here. Hey, doesn't it look exactly the same as the last time? It sure does, except there's more black and blue down here. Look at that. Black and blue. Isn't that cool? The cool thing is, though, that I actually got quite excited about is that this is the bottom. This is the bottom. I haven't been at the bottom in 8 years. I finally hit the bottom. I went top to bottom. And I was quite excited about that. Not the least of which because especially when this big, I'm really paranoid when I cut my fabric. I measure it 7,000 times and I measure it again 7,000 more times after it's cut. And I calculate every single different way that I can to make sure that I measured it right and to make sure that I calculated it right, because I am terrified that I'm going to invest at this point 8 years in something like this, and I'm going to get down to the bottom and realize I didn't cut a big enough piece of fabric. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Here's 8 years of my life. Garbage. Garbage. It's a big worry for me every time I start one, even though it's never happened, and I'm sure it never will happen, except now that I just said that, now it's going to happen. But I'm always really excited when I get to the sides or to the top and bottom and realize that I left myself enough room to not have to panic and I actually measured it and cut it properly, because it scares me to death. Now, hold on a minute. Hold on. Everybody just calm down. Hey, look, my glass is almost empty. I think I should get another one. I think I should get another one. I've always been a pretty monogamous stitcher. It's very rare that I do more than one thing at a time. The one time that I did try to do more than one thing at a time was, I was still working on this one. And I found that John Lennon pattern that I showed last time. Go watch it. I don't want to pick up my camera. Maybe I'll insert a picture or something, or a little something. I'll do something. So I found that one in the middle of working on this one. And I thought, I love John Lennon. I love him. There's no, other than Bob Dylan, there's nobody else for me as far as like writing or music. Like, they've got it all. I named my son Dylan. And if he was a girl, he would have been named Lennon. I don't know why. My wife liked Lennon as a girl's name and not a boy's name, but whatever. Dylan's cool too. I love Dylan. Love my son. Love Bob Dylan. What was I talking about? Hey, look, it's John. Look at me. I'm John. I'm wearing white. I look like Jesus. Right. So that was the first time that I ever attempted to be a multitasker. I was going to do a page of Princess with a Himalayan Cat, and I was going to do a page of John Lennon, and I was going to go back and forth, and I was going to see progress on both of them. How well do you think that worked out? As soon as I started John Lennon, I was like, fuck that. I'm finishing John Lennon. It's not nearly as big, and it's awesome, and it's John Lennon. So there was no multitasking. There was unitasking. I'm a unitasker. I do one thing at a time. So when I talked about this one, and I don't want to keep saying 8 years, but it's been 8 years. And look, I'm finally at the bottom. And like, I'm on page, see this? Can you see this? 32. Page 30, that's really blurry, whatever. Page 32 of 36. That's how close I am to finally finishing this damn thing. 32 of 36. And so I kind of mentioned in my last video, should I start, I'm kind of hankering to start some other projects, just because all I really have left in this one is like a little bit of this, but mainly this dark, boring shit that goes all the way across the bottom. And yeah, it needs to be done. And yeah, I want it to be done, but I prefer doing color. So I was kind of struggling with, like, should I start a new one or not? Or should I do more than one thing at a time? And I was kind of expecting, for some reason, that everybody would tell me, no, man, don't do that, man. I don't know why I think you talk like that, but you're so close to finishing. You just stick with it. You'll be done faster. Stick with it, man. Don't finish. Don't stop now. Finish it. And how many people do you think said that to me? How many, just try to guess, how many people said, don't start anything new. Just finish what you're working on until it's done and you'll be much happier. Guess how many people said that?
0.0.
Yeah, that's right. You people, you, I'm looking at you, are a bunch of whip enablers. You're just a bunch of enablers. You're all about start them all. Start everything you want. Never finish anything. If you want to start the one for your son that you want to do, start it. If you want to finish that moon you were working on, finish it. If you've got a stack this big that you want to work on, start them all. Never finish anything. Just start them all. Okay. I mean, I'm not like, I want to do that. Yeah, I want to start all of them. Of course I do. But like, isn't the goal to finish stuff? Doesn't anybody want to finish anything? No? Just me? Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I mean, yeah, I do know what to do, but just, I want to finish my princess. I want to finish her. But I also really want to start some of these other fun things that I want to be working on. I want both things. So what am I going to do? Well, as a wise man once said, you're gonna make me do this right now? With this shirt on. With this shirt on, you're gonna make me say this? You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find what you need. Ah, yeah. So, this one right here, this colorful looking kitty cat. Meow 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 and meow 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 meow. This one that I want to do for my son because it's kind of like fun and whimsically looking, and it's a cat, and he's the coolest cat I know. I was debating the last time I made my first video whether I wanted to start this or not. And look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look at that. Isn't it pretty though? Purple! Look at all the purple. I started it. And it's funny because I'm so used to working on my other princess, which is so big, that this one kind of seemed like it was like, this is more of a reasonably sized small one, but it's not all that small. I mean, it's smaller than the one I'm used to, but it's not tiny. It's, hang on. Oh, yeah. I was going to tell you about sizes and shit. Here. My big-ass princess with the cat on her lap. Here she is. Is stitch count 400 wide, 541 high. Full coverage. So, that's a lot of stitches. So anything smaller than that seems small, but this one is not tiny. This little kitty cat right here, where'd he go? Here he is. Yeah. Is 350 stitches wide by 258 high. So that is a lot. It's a lot smaller and won't take me nearly as long. And it's more fun because it's colorful. Although I feel like I'm going to get sick of all that blue and purple. Like it's colorful, but it's like 1 or 2 colors. But hey, Ringo. It's me, Ringo. Hey, look, there's Paul. Paul's not wearing shoes. Look, how come he's not wearing shoes? He's smoking a cigarette. So, anyway, I don't know what I was just talking about, but I started it. And since I started this one, I might as well keep working on the moon that do I have that? This thing right here? Yeah, it's right here. I might as well keep working on this too, because this would look pretty awesome when it's done, and it's already this far. If I'm gonna multitask, I might as well fucking multitask, you know what I mean? So maybe I'll even start some more. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Michael's and buy 18 Q snaps. I am not moving this thing from project to project. If I'm going to start multiple things, I'm going to have multiple snaps, because I don't know why. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but I hate these things. I love them for actual stitching. It's way better than a hoop. I used a hoop for a long time, and I found this, and I was sold. I love this way more. And do I hate snapping those things on there. Both of those projects, by the way, actually all 3 of those are stitched on 18 count white Aida, which leads me to my final little section here, which I hesitated to, like, am I going to do this? Am I going to do it right now, or am I going to do it at all? Because I feel like I'm a pretty good cross stitcher. I do good stuff. Like, look, I did this one, and 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 I did this one. They're pretty good, right? They look good. They're like, they always impress people when they see them, like, whoa, they don't even look like stitchings. They look like paintings, or like, you know, like you're some kind of an expert, or you know what you're doing. It turns out I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but I know, just like everything else in my life, I know I learned one thing, and I learned it that way, and I'm not interested in anything else. I got it. I got my method down. I got my materials down. I got it down. I know how to do it. Oh, there's other ways to do it? La 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 la. Can't hear you. Other things, other ways, other fabrics. Can't hear you. So I've been doing it the same way on the same fabric basically forever. And from watching you guys talk about all the different, you know, projects and the different fabrics that you use and the different things that you do, and like I've kind of like I feel like a little bit of a phony sometimes, because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, should I admit this right now? Because I'm going to go through a list of stuff that I have no idea what you guys are talking about when you're talking about it, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, something doesn't add up here. It's like, okay, he wrote he wrote this great epic novel, but he doesn't know what an alphabet is. He doesn't know what a noun or a verb is, but he wrote this whole book. Like, that's how I feel right now when I'm going to admit the things that I don't know. But here we go. Some of the things, not all the things, there's a million things. I've been trying to jot them down as I'm watching you guys, but I jotted down just a couple of things that come up a lot, and I'm lost. Somebody help me. I don't know what's going on. All right. First of all, I hear a lot of people talk about samplers. And they're holding up their thing. Here's the blah, blah, blah sampler. And look, I made this sampler. And here I did this sampler. The fuck is a sampler? And how is it different from just like a pattern? Or is it just a pattern? And like, is there something about a sampler that makes it a sampler? What is that? I don't know what that is. They're awesome. The what's his name? There's a guy, sorry. There's a guy, I didn't have him written down to talk about him this time, but he did one floss tube and he's got an accent and he's awesome. Okay. Anyway, I think he does his own designs. He's like, here's a sampler and here's another sampler, and like, they're awesome. But what's a sampler? Here's another thing that comes up a lot that seems to me, from what I can gather, to be the most basic thing. Like, if you don't know this, how do you even know how to thread a fucking needle? Like, how do you not know this? Is how I feel like every time this comes up, and people have asked me about it, and like, I don't know how to answer them because I don't know what they're talking about. And like, I just feel ridiculous that I don't know this. But people talk about, I'm stitching this 1/1, or I'm doing this 2/1, or 2/2, or 2 blah, 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 something over something. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I've exposed myself. I'm a complete phony. I don't know what that means. What does 1/1 mean? What does 2/1 mean? What does that mean? I'm sure one of those things is what I do, but I don't know what that is. And I feel ridiculous for not knowing. Refill. One thing that I just learned recently is frogging. That came up a lot and I had no idea what that was, but I must have come across that somewhere. And somebody said, frogging means when you have to rip your stitches out because you fucked up. And it's called frogging because you rip it. And nobody loves a corny dad joke like me. So that made me busted a gut laughing. And I'm like, I can't wait till I screw up again so I can rip it, and hop around the room like a little froggy. Here's another one that's super embarrassing. When I learned how to cross stitch when I was 10, I learned on 14 count Ada. And for the next, I'm going to say 20, maybe not 20 years, but for the next, let's say 15 years after that, I genuinely didn't know that anything else existed. 14 count Ada was all there is. I didn't even know, like, that there were different sizes of Ada. It's just like I did everything on 14 count Ada. And as I got a little older and started doing a little bit more like bigger full coverage, you know, fancier projects, I would notice sometimes, nobody else would notice this, but sometimes it drove me a little nuts that it didn't cover the Ada as well as I wanted. Like, I'd make a stitch and I could sometimes, if I got close enough, I could see the white Ada in behind my stitches, and I didn't like it. I wanted it to be tighter and fuller. And I mentioned that to somebody sometime, and they were like, why don't you just use a different count? And I was like, a what now? What language are you speaking? A different count?
Oh, greetings, it is I, the Count.
That was really eye-opening, that like, I don't have to do this on 14 count Ada. I can do it with smaller stitches and give it better coverage. So I at a certain point switched to 18 count Ada, which is what I still am using. This is 18 count Ada right here. And I was way happier. It's like, it's such a minor difference, but I was way happier with the coverage of it. I can't see, even when I'm close up, I can't see any white, like the stitches are just, they're closer together. Who would have thought? And it covers the whole thing so much better. And so that's what I've used for my last, I don't know, I'm going to say 10 years, 18 count Ada. So now that I've discovered that, of course, that's the only thing that exists. I've never explored anything else. And I hear you guys talking about even weave and whatever other kinds of fabric. Linen comes up a lot. Linen? Linen? What are you stitched on your bed sheets? What the fuck are you doing? Linen? What is that? So they look really good whenever somebody holds up a thing and says like, here's also maybe this is like where the 1/2 or 2 whatever the fuck comes in. But I swear some of you are saying sometimes that you're stitching on like 40 count linen or like 38 count linen or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, 38? What? How tiny? Like, are you stitching with like a telescope? Like, how do you see a 38 count? Maybe it's different on different fabrics, but 18 is like, I mean, I'm used to it now. If I do another giant project like this, I'll probably do it on like maybe like 22 or something even a little bit smaller than this. But like 38, what are you doing? Like, I know I need glasses, but like, how do you see that? Or is that different on different fabrics? Or like, that sounds ridiculous to me that they would be twice as small or smaller than this. How is that possible? I don't understand how that's possible. But what I do understand is how delicious this beer is. One other thing that came up a couple of times that I had never heard of. I feel a little bit less silly for not knowing what this is because I haven't heard it as much, so maybe it's not like a common thing, but someone, I can't remember who it was, called it they were stitching the stab and poke method. I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome. Stab and poke. Because, you know, I have the body of a 90-year-old and the sense of humor of a 10-year-old. So when I hear stab and poke, it's kind of like when I heard, I wrote this down too because I didn't want to forget it. The Xstitchmd with the fun socks. So many times in some of her videos, she was talking about, what is it here? Long dog samplers. But she kept calling it long dong samplers. And because I have the sense of humor of a small child, I busted a gut laughing every time. Long dong samplers. One last thing on this topic, that this is a thing that it's not that I don't know what it is. I know exactly what it is, but I can't wrap my mind around it. You're going to have to help me out here, because parking, when people park their threads, disclaimer, I would never ever try to tell anybody that the way I do something is the way that they should also be doing it, or that I'm doing it right and they're doing it wrong. Never. The best way to do something and the right way to do something is the way that works best for you. So if that's what works best for you, have at it. Go to it and do it that way forever, because that's the way you should do it. But there's a but in there. When I see people park their threads and they post these pictures of all these parked threads that are like, I can't. There's even right there, and I can't even, because doesn't that get tangled? Doesn't it get like, is it hard to find? Like, sometimes it just looks like a mess of thread. It's like they're everywhere, they're dangling everywhere, they're this long, and they're like, it gives me such anxiety. I get such anxiety even just looking at it, just looking at a picture of it. Just like, it makes me want to vomit. I cannot handle it. I can't handle the chaos. It looks like absolute chaos. And how, maybe it's easier. Maybe I should try it. I don't know. But it just looks like madness when I see all these long dangling threads that you just left there, just left them hanging there. How do you deal with that? How does that work? Don't they get caught in each other? Don't they get caught in your next stitches when they're still dangling there? Don't they get like, I mean, I'm somebody who, I get super anxiety over just anything that's tangled cords behind my TV, tangled up shoelaces, tangled anything. I just can't handle things that are tangled. But when I make one, there are times when I haven't even made one stitch yet. Let's say this again. Make sure this is clear. I haven't even made one stitch yet. Not one. And by the time I pull my needle through, it's like 17 invisible Boy Scouts are back there, like practicing their sheep shanks. Like, what the hell? How can this get so tangled and so knotted when I haven't even made one stitch yet? How does that happen?
Dramatization. Hello, governor. So it's a single stitch you want, is it? Well, that don't seem too tall an order now, does it? Why?
I just can't. I can't. And like, I'm sorry if you like doing it that way, do it that way. By all means. But I can't even look at it. I can't even look at it without my insides getting all tied in a knot. And like, I just don't understand how that's easier to have all of your threads dangling and tangled within each other. And like, aren't they in the way? That's the other thing. They have to be in the way when you're stitching more. They have to be. Somebody explain this to me. Maybe I'll start doing it and I'll love it and I'll apologize. I shouldn't have ranted about parking. I'm sorry, parking. I love you, parking. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But right now, it just looks like chaos. So much chaos that I'm going to pronounce the H. It's chaos. Chaos. Well, I just got a text from my wife saying that she's on her way home. So I'm not going to have the house to myself anymore. Where'd my kid go, by the way? Did I tie him up somewhere with a bucket of water at least? So he's like, I'm just kidding. Calm down, Susan. He's with my mom today. Relax. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. So I don't even know. Did I do enough actual cross-stitching related stuff today to make this a legit floss tube, or was I just being a clown? I don't even remember, but I'll try to be a little bit more detailed and specific next time about my projects and I've got a stack. I've said this now multiple times, but I've got a stack of shit that I want to do. Maybe I'll start some of it before my next video, and I'll have a whole bunch of works in progress to show you enablers with, hey, look, I got a bunch of whips. Yay, I'm never going to finish anything ever again. Okay, whatever, who cares? I think at some point too, if I can ever like find a time where my mom isn't home, I might sneak into her house and not just take some pictures, but maybe do a floss tube from her house, because she's got a lifetime's worth of my cross stitchings on her walls. So maybe I could go through some of them and, you know, in my own clownish way, make a video from her house, you know, top secret Mission Impossible style video. That'd be fun, right? Whatever. Also, I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to make another video before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody. If I don't speak to you before Christmas or even before the new year, maybe it'll be 2021 by the time I make another one. I don't know. It's a little hard to do these when people are home. Maybe I'll sneak into the bedroom and do it in there or something. I don't know. I'm sitting in the middle of my living room right now. I'm not going to do that when anybody's home. But Merry Christmas, or whatever the hell you like. You just like, whatever. I don't care about Christmas. I just want to get together with my family and eat turkey, or I just want to be alone at Christmas. Whatever. Whatever you like. Merry whatever. Whatever makes you happy. And happy Beatle listening. I hope everybody listens to the Beatles every day, because they will make your life better. And until next time, cheers.